Hello, I'm Dr. Bennett Wood. I'm the Director of Jazz Studies at Mineral Area College. I'd like to welcome you to the 2021 Mineral Area College Carol Moore Memorial Jazz Festival. We're celebrating the 35th annual MAC Jazz Fest virtually this year, and I hope you'll find these asynchronous resources both educational and fun. Thanks for joining us. In this video, you'll hear from Peter Schlamb. Peter is a vibraphonist and pianist based in Kansas City, Missouri. He recently released his second album, Electric Tinks, and maintains a busy schedule performing locally, nationally, and internationally. Peter spent several years in New York City, where he attended and graduated from New School University. Peter is an active member of several ensembles, including Logan Richardson's Blues People, Matt Villinger's All-Night Trio, and the Marcus Lewis Quintet, in addition to leading his own group, Electric Tinks. In this video, Peter's going to talk to you about raising your rhythmic aptitude by using a metronome to explore all parts of the beat. And I think you'll really enjoy this one. Have fun. I hope you learn a lot. Thank you.
How's it going? This is Peter Schlamb, coming to you from Kansas City. Hope everyone's doing really well. Super excited to have the opportunity to talk about rhythmic practice. And just a brief introduction, I'm a vibraphonist and also a piano player. I'm originally from St. Louis. I went to college at the New School in New York City, moved back to St. Louis, and I've been out in Kansas City playing primarily jazz out here for the past 8 years. Wow, time's flying. Anyway, super excited to have the opportunity to talk to you guys, and I'm just going to go over a few basics of rhythmic practice. Now, I love to practice with a metronome, and I think it's super helpful and useful, and I think hopefully by the end of this video you might have some different ways to practice with a metronome that you might not have thought of before, because I think a lot of times we just put the metronome on the beat and we play with it, right? But there, as you're going to see by the end of the video, there are several things that we can do to help advance our rhythmic aptitude and to really reinforce some good habits, understand different parts of the beat a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we would probably do with the metronome is just practice playing on the beat. So the metronome's going to click, we're going to play on the beat. I'm going to start off with a nice slow tempo at 60, and I'm going to play up the major scale and one note per click. Metronome's on downbeats, we're also on downbeats. So here we go. Now, this is a great way to practice, and I think we should all be comfortable playing on downbeats, but this is just the very beginning. So the next thing we're going to do is, at the same tempo, I'm going to have the metronome on 60, we're actually going to play opposite the metronome. And there are two different ways that we're going to feel this. They're going to sound the exact same, but they're actually going to feel quite different. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have the metronome be on downbeats, and we're playing on the upbeats. So it's going to feel like this. So the metronome's down, up, up. So when I clap is when we're playing. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And I'm going to try to be right even with the metronome. So I'm going to do the scale again. Okay, so we're playing opposite the metronome. We want to make it nice and even, right? But we're actually going to reverse how we think about this. So now I'm going to be the downbeat and the metronome's going to be the upbeat. Now the result is it's going to sound exactly the same, but if you go through and practice this, you'll find that it feels completely different, because now we're going to be the strong beat and we're imagining the metronome is the upbeat and we're the downbeat, if that makes sense. So we're thinking down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, down. So that's when we're playing. And we're thinking downbeats. Trying to make it totally balanced. So the metronome is right in the middle of our downbeats. And I think as you'll find when you do this, when you start practicing upbeats, even this might be a little tricky. So it's good to start at a slow tempo. I mean, I still like to practice at slow tempos because a lot of times it's actually harder to play accurately slow than fast. And so there's nothing wrong with starting out nice and slow and really try to conceptualize the metronome being the downbeat and the upbeat. Even though, like I said, it sounds the same, and then imagine you're the downbeat and the upbeat, and that's just going to help you be more solid. Because a lot of times it's like if you're playing with other musicians, you want to be able to hear what they're doing and react in either the same place or a different place, right? So like if the drummer hits the and of 4, you might want to come in and hit the 1 really strong. And if the drummer, at the same time, you might really want to confidently hit the and of 4 when the drummer's played a big beat on 3 or 4. So it's like there are all these moments where you just want to be able to hear things in multiple different ways. So to continue with the overview, now we're going to be playing 2 notes per click. And we're going to start by doing that. The metronome being on downbeats. And we're going to play 2 notes per beat now. So. Right, so pretty straightforward. But now we're going to play off of the beat. So again, we're going to think about this 2 different ways. So the first way we're going to think about it is the metronome is playing on downbeats, and we're playing on the 2 upbeats. So it'd be like if it's 1E and a 2E, and we're going to play 1E, 2E, 3E, And this is one of my favorite ways to practice, actually. I do this all the time. So once again, the metronome's on downbeats, and we're going to play up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up. Now, even doing that at that tempo can be really tricky when you haven't done it. So I'm playing at 60 right now, and there's totally nothing wrong with taking it even slower than that. The main thing is you want to be accurate, right? You want to make sure that you're as accurate as possible. You want to practice at a tempo that's slow enough that you can play accurately. Because, right, if we're practicing with the metronome, the point is we want to improve our rhythm. So I just want to emphasize that. Practice as slow as you need to. It's better to practice slow and to be accurate than to try to rush through things, be a little bit sloppy, and just think, oh, that's fine, that's good enough, you know. So again, this is going to sound the same, but as you practice along with me or do these exercises on your own, you're going to notice actually that this feels different. Now we are going to be the downbeats, and the metronome is going to be the upbeat. So we're going to imagine like the metronome is 1E and 2E and 3E and so the metronome's up the if that makes sense. So we're going down, 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 up, down, 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 down. One note. If when you're first doing these exercises, honestly, you can clap. You don't even have to play your instrument. You can practice this anywhere. You know, you could even have the metronome on your phone. You could be in the train or on the bus or in the car, and you could just clap along. You know, count the rhythms with your voice. There are so many ways that we can practice this without being on the instrument. And when we first get on the instrument, I recommend doing something very basic, like a major scale if you're really comfortable with that, or the chromatic scale, or like I said, even just playing one note. I mean, we still want to get the feeling of the rhythm down first, so we don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to try this crazy scale that I just learned, or this particular pattern or exercise that I can barely pull off, and then start adding all these elements. So I think it's, I just wanted to emphasize that it's important to not overwhelm what you're doing, especially when you're first practicing some of these exercises. So now we are going to move on to triplets or groups of 3. There's a lot of fun stuff with this. So again, I'm just keeping the metronome consistently on 60. One more sip of coffee. So we are going to play, now there's going to be 3 beats per click. So triplet, 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 triplet. And we're going to start with the metronome on the T, or the trip of the triplet. Okay, so here we go. Triplet. Right? Now, before we start doing the different upbeats, we're just going to have the metronome be on a different part of the triplet, right? So now, even though this is going to sound fairly similar, just one note displaced, it's going to feel different, because now we're going to imagine the metronome is on the P, or the second part of the triplet. Triplet, 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 triplet. So I was doing diatonic triads on that last time, and I think that maybe is going to be a clear example so you can really hear that P of the triplet. So naturally, we have one more, right? We did the tri, we did the P. Now we're doing the lit. Ooh, got tongue-tied there for a second. So now the metronome is going to be clicking on the 3rd beat, and we're going to play, hear that, so. Triplet, 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 triplet. Interesting about these, when you first start practicing, you might realize that, like, oh, I'm really comfortable with the trip, or with the P, or with the lit, but you might not be evenly comfortable with all of them, because sometimes this is going to be our first time even practicing some of these things. But it's like, as you can see, we're just kind of methodically going through all these different parts of the beats, right? So we did our trip, we did our P, and we did our lit, and now we're going to practice with the upbeats. So first we're going to think of the metronome as downbeat, and we're going to play push triplets against it. So you know what, I'm going to slow this down a little bit. This is getting tricky. So yeah, I'm going to put it down to 50 so you can hear it better, and so I can execute it better. Like I said, better to be slow and more accurate than fast and out of control. So here we go. Trip up, 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 up. So we're going down, up, 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 down, up, up, up. So we're the upbeats, right? So down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, up, up. Down, up, 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 down, up, up, up. As we get into these more challenging ones, just remember, like, I was not perfectly accurate on that. We want to keep slowing it down to where we can be as accurate as possible. And the metronome is a great guide, right? If you're a little bit off, you might be like, oh shoot, I'm rushing this a little bit, or I'm dragging, or maybe one thing that really happens a lot of times when you're first practicing upbeats is you'll kind of either speed up or slow down so you end up on the beat with the metronome. that's a super common thing, right? So it's like, honestly, this takes a lot of practice initially to even kind of be able to hear it clearly and feel it clearly. But once you do, I think it is so beneficial for helping your rhythmic playing and your confidence with your rhythmic playing. So now, again, we are going to change up. So we're going to be the downbeats, and the metronome is going to be the upbeat, right? So we're going to have it be the first upbeat for the example. Triple, oh man. Triplet, 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 down, down, down. Hear that? Down. All right, here I go. Down, 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 down. So yeah, even going between those two different things up to by the time you're on the triplet, this is getting pretty tricky, right? So it's good. You're gonna have to practice slow. It's gonna take a while, as you can see for me. Like I'm still, getting comfortable with it, but it's great stuff to practice, and it builds a lot of rhythmic confidence and clarity. So now let's say we're gonna go up to 16th notes, because basically, so a lot of music, right? We're doing subdivisions of 2 and 3. So you've probably noticed that I've gone through methodically, right? We started with one note per beat, then 2 notes per beat, then 3, and basically just hearing the upbeats, the downbeats, playing with the metronome being on both of those parts. So now I'm gonna leave it on 50. I'll bring it up a little for this, put it up to 60. So now we're gonna be doing 4 notes per beat, or 16th notes, right? So here we go. Slow it down for this next one. This is getting pretty tricky. So now we're going to do the same thing we've been doing. So we're going to have the metronome be on the downbeat, and we are going to be on the 4 upbeats in between it, right? So first we have to kind of subdivide in the group of 8, right? I'm going to slow it down from here even. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1. 1. Up, 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 up. You feel that? Down, up, 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 up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E. Oh, see, I put the metronome on the front, so that's okay. We're gonna try it again. 1 E and up. So that's where I need to play, right? Less accurate with that. It's tricky, it's at this point you're doing a lot of subdividing, but I'm here just sharing with you the things that I actually practice, and I'm still working on all this stuff, but I find it to be very helpful. So lastly, we're going to be the downbeat, and we're going to have the metronome be one of the upbeats, also with the 16th note. So 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Great. So now, we've kind of gone through, and I think even just going this far with practicing downbeats and upbeats through 1, 2, 3, and 4 notes per click, that's going to give you so many more ways to practice, especially if you've just been, lining the metronome up on downbeats and kind of playing with it. This is going to present a lot of fun and challenging ways to engage with the metronome. And just a last couple points about this. I know I made this before, but make sure that you're practicing slowly. Make sure to prioritize accuracy, because the point of doing this is to help your accuracy. And, take it slow and don't worry if you're not perfect. I mean, this stuff is tricky, and the point of it is that it's going to expose certain weaknesses that you might have that you maybe didn't even know that you had. So anyway, happy practicing. I really hope that this video was helpful, and have fun practicing with the metronome, and hope everyone is having a great day. Thank you.